in training, I feel like those battles are really good. Particularly in those long sessions, you try and break someone and they're still there, and then they go, and then you get to push each other. And then I feel like that's where like those really special training sessions come out.
Welcome to Social Kick. I'm Brian Lundquist. We got a partial crew. John's not here. I don't know. He's MIA. But we got Luke Paddington subbing in for John. Way to go. We're welcome to have Luke back on some regular pods now. We gotta have some consistency out of you, Luke. Can we get that going forward? Yeah. Well, trying and execution are different things. As you well know, the man, Sam Short. What's going on, dude? How are you?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me, guys. Happy to be here.
Well, we're stoked to get to talk to you. Consistency is a thing. Luke and I are sprinters, and so is John. And so when it comes to distance swimming or mid-distance swimming, I gotta say, man, you got to do way more laps than we're ever used to doing or want to do. So while I have a lot of respect for it, it just takes a different breed. And maybe we just didn't have it. We just didn't have it. That's okay. You got it.
Yeah. Got a couple sprinters in my squad, so it's pretty funny seeing like Meg Harris, for example, world champion in the 50. So she gets out there now before me every session. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, but how much more time does she spend in the gym than you?
A lot more time, actually. Yeah, she's pretty strong.
Give me an example of something that Meg is really good at, like swole in the gym. What's like an exercise that you're like, oh my gosh, she does that so well, and like I can't.
To be honest, she's probably can leg press and squat way more than I can, to be honest. And she's good at everything. Even to be honest, like you can tell she's pretty strong. Like I've seen her do some crazy stuff in training. So I wasn't surprised at all when I saw her rip that 50 at Worlds.
Yeah, no, she's been consistent over the last few years too, for sure. I have a question for you because I feel like this is something about distance swimming that was, I don't know if there's like more of a regularity. I'm like very adamant that I want to lift before I swim. And this was a common thing in sprinting, that you'd like do a power session in the pool after the strength, but that you wouldn't do it reverse. And I don't like lifting after doing gym after swimming. But what do you do? What's your process?
I definitely lift after swimming. It takes a fair bit out of me, the gym. I don't do too much gym anymore. I can just obviously try and get stronger and maintain my strength, but I try and limit. I put on muscle pretty easily, so I've had to change stuff over the years just to like reduce that muscle mass. But yeah, definitely after training, I try to save my muscles for like an 8.5K swim in the pool.
Yeah, well, it is a lot of distance to cover in the pool, and we'll get around to that and what you're doing in the pool for sure. But before we get there, we ask our audience on Instagram and YouTube at Social Kick Swim for questions for our guests. And Sam, we got a few for you in no particular order, and this certainly is not all of them, but we're going to cherry pick some of them. This one is from Owen Birchinall, wants to know favorite KFC order.
Zinger box. Yeah, everyone gets a Zinger box in Australia. It's like a staple. Yeah, try to avoid it though.
Wait, what is in this?
It's just basically just a chicken burger and fries. I mean, it's just like you can't really go too wrong with it.
Okay.
Brian,
right.
Is this the second KFC question we've had from Aussie swimmer this year? Didn't they ask Jamie Jack? Yeah, I think Jamie Jack got asked that question as well by the audience. It's a Aussie thing, must be.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's not as good as the stuff you guys got in the US, but it's probably the closest thing we've got to it.
All right, fair enough. All right, this one's from Joni07_CL. What's the best way of returning from a long break?
Don't rush into it. Build your weeks. Don't try and go straight back to normal the first week. Otherwise, you'll do more harm than good. So just no rush.
Okay. This one's from Rosie AC. What is your proudest underrated accomplishment so far?
Probably my silver medal at the World Champs in 2023, 800 free. It's probably my most proud swim, to be honest.
Wait, okay. Overall, your most proud swim, even more so than the gold in the 400.
Yeah, I feel like I pushed myself pretty hard in that race. Like I didn't think I could go that fast at that point in time. So I was pretty chuffed with it.
What do you feel now about like your event lineup? Where's your sweet spot? If you were to like dial in a distance, I'm going to steal Luke's question because he asked earlier to another guest. But if you were to like craft your ideal distance that you'd be best at, what is like your body tailor made for?
To be honest, the 800 free, I think I was really disappointed when I got really sick at Worlds and I wasn't able to do the final. I really thought I was going to do something pretty crazy in the 800 free. I feel like that's my sweet spot. Like 1500, I just start to die a little bit. 400 free, I got some speed, but not as much as like Lucas, for example. But I feel like I can maintain my tempo really good for an 800. So I haven't shown what I can do yet in the 800, I think.
I mean, that world record is 16 years old.
Yeah,
that's the hanging ready to go, but it's one of the hardest ones there is. What do you think about that world record?
I think it's pretty ridiculous, to be honest. 732. Funny enough, he's got the fastest front end 400 free split in it, and then he came back faster. He next split it, and that's just ridiculous. But I think we will start getting closer to it. Ahmed did an amazing race at World Champs, and I do think if I was in it, not knowing my training, I think I could have been around that mark as well. And hopefully I'll be able to do that soon.
I can't remember when it was exactly, but I think it was around, this year's World Championships that I went back and I watched that race. And, these races in history, maybe if it's like, one of your core events, you remember it better. But like my, not having watched it in a while, I had forgotten that Os and him were like together for the majority of that race. And even though they were on opposite sides, they were like 2 or 3 lanes apart at least, but I didn't know that they were together. And like, you're somebody who swam a lot of races like that, being like with somebody that you're right there with. And so I wonder, are you somebody who like goes back and watches these historical races? Are there like key moments in swimming history that were like formative for you?
Yeah, definitely. Some people say I'm a bit of a swim nerd, to be honest. I love going back and watching like the great swims. I used to do it a lot when I was really young. I used to watch all of Grant Hackett swims, Thorpe swims, Perkins swims, and then obviously like 2008, 9, 12, Sun Yang and all that sort of stuff. It's just really good to watch. I think you can gain a lot of insight just by watching the best do their thing. And I just really wanted to get involved after watching that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, if you had to give me your top 3 favorite historical swimming races, what are they?
Pretty good watch. I do like Kieran Perkins in 1991. I think he's 400 free. It was in DTs. He went like 343 and just decimated the field. That was pretty crazy for 1991. And then I forgot. I went down a wormhole the other day. It was like the 1976. It was when like Bobby Hackett and all that went like 1502 in the 1500 back in the day with like no goggles, nothing. I think that's just ridiculous. That's just absolutely absurd.
Luke swam in the era with no goggles, didn't you, Luke?
Yeah, and then Thorpe's 340s. He's got like a bunch of them. They're pretty effortless to watch, and it's pretty amazing.
I just went off camera because I was looking for my stack of posters because I watched him swim that 340 live in Sydney. And it was just such an unbelievable. I bought the poster because the poster shows the pool and you see half the pool and you just see Thorpe, you see nobody else. And this is the Olympic final and you just saw only him. Incredible.
It's ridiculous. It was well ahead of his time.
Yeah. Is there anything technique-wise that you take from anybody else too? I don't feel like it happens as much in swimming, but I mean, era-wise, it's hard to ignore the people who are, leading. But especially with distance swimming, it feels like it's way more what works for your body than it is what's working in the sport at the time.
Yeah, I'm much smaller than like a massive Grant Hackett or a big Ian Thorpe. I'm 185 centimeters. They're well taller.
Yeah, but you swim like you're 200 centimeters. Okay.
Yeah, I've got long arms. That's my saving grace. I love watching them swim, and if I was tall, that's exactly how I'd want to swim. But I'm definitely much more of a tempo swimmer, and I grew up swimming in the surf at Surf Lifesaving, so I got that bit of a lope, and I just kind of found that works for me.
When we had Ahmed on a few weeks ago, he was talking about that 800 free, world record and how he wanted to swim it. You know, and he figured he could go a little bit harder because he was surprised he had energy to come home at Worlds in it. How would you attack that 800 free to go? I mean, it's a 445 split basically to do that. Sorry, 345. Sorry.
Yeah. Luke, you go 445. If
I
you're
will
lucky.
go 445. With fins on and paddles. Yeah. How would you attack that race? Because you just mentioned, you know, how Perkins, he attacked the race from the start, 8 big kick from the first 25. You know, Hackett, he did it differently. How would you attack a 800 free? Yeah.
When I went my PB in 2023, I was out in 347.1 at the 400, which is, I think I would have been out in probably 346 if I was to do it at Worlds and didn't come down with that bad stomach bug.
Yeah.
Armin, I think he went 348 or 349 at the 400, so it would have been pretty interesting because there's so many different ways to swim it. But I do think if like someone goes out really like that in an aggressive way, it kind of drags the field out as well. I definitely, you know, I've got a 145 now in the 200, so got to use my speed at the front end. So definitely 346. Maybe one day if I'm really brave, 345 high. But I do like it to attack my races if I'm feeling up for it.
Yeah, it was interesting how Lucas broke Biedermann's 400 free record because we all know how Biedermann came home in that 400, in that 50, right, with that suit on, and Zhang obviously had a suit on in 09, so I don't know what his last split was, but Lucas showed that you can swim the 400 differently and still hold off Biedermann's coming home in the suit, and that's almost what you're going to have to do to break that 732 world record, right, with Zhang.
You pretty much just got to. You can't be soft. That 732, I guess you just got to be a bit crazy, to be honest. 346 is hard for a 400, so you got to be out at least a 346. But I definitely think we'll probably start seeing some 735s, 734s probably. Might be a couple of years before 732, but I do think the 800 free is going to keep advancing. You know, there's some really motivated boys in the top field at the moment. Yeah,
the Paris final was really interesting. How Daniel finished his last 25, basically. You know, we went crazy to hold up.
Yeah.
Because that was 800, right? When Bobby was chasing him down, but Daniel went crazy that last stuff. How do you think about how Paris final figured out? It was more of a race, not so much a time, but a race. How do you differentiate going for time and not racing, you guys? Because you're known to have raced. You raced, you know, the 1500, these guys. How do you separate going for fast time than just winning against your competition?
I think it's just like, in those sort of high pressure things, you know, you're racing against, for example, for the 400 at World Champs this year, I didn't back my own race plan. You know, I probably got sucked into the moment racing. You know, I was next to Lucas, the world record holder, Olympic champ. I was just so excited to try and race him and try and beat him. I think it's really hard to find that balance. That's why, you know, you see some world records put up in like March in Stockholm, for example, or trials when the pressure isn't really that high. It's a different ball game. Like for me, for example, I probably don't really have anyone next to me domestically in an 800 or 1500. And then I go once or twice a year. All of a sudden, I've got 6 guys next to me. It's kind of like, whoa. So that's something I've really tried to do in the last 12 months. And I will do this the next 12 months is try and get a bit more exposure against some of the best swimmers in the world.
So that means you have Aussie short course champs coming up, and then you're going to the World Cups. Who is racing the World Cups against you guys? Who's there? I'm
not too sure who's racing internationally. I think some of the Koreans will be, like Kim Woo-min and all that sort of stuff.
Wow. Okay.
He's very, very quick. Probably the best trainer I've actually seen train in person, to be honest. He's done some pretty crazy stuff I've seen. But then Aussie short course, I'm kind of just going for a bit of a hit out. I actually haven't done short course since I was 17. So yeah, I'm due for some PBs. Long course is definitely my thing, but I'm pretty excited to get some short course racing in. I think it'll be good fun. It's a early season phase of training, so been doing a lot of long, slow swimming and then some really short, fast stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how I go with that. But yeah, pretty excited. I think some good talent will be racing at the World Cup circuit.
How do you fare with that kind of schedule? You know, it's every weekend and 3 days in a row. And, you know, do you think you might get faster and sharper, or, you know, you might peak for the last leg in Toronto is the last one, I think. Yeah. How do you feel? How do you shape up for that schedule?
I think I'll be pretty good. I'm pretty good at backing up and training fast stuff. Particularly, I think I'll probably freshen up as it goes on, to be honest. Gradually, because I haven't had any rest going into short course and a couple of days. I was short course in a couple of days, so I think I'll just probably progressively get better. But I'm pretty it's my thing in training. I can show up pretty much every second day almost and do a good session, good fast session. So yeah.
Okay.
Well, we were talking to Luka Mijatovic earlier, and he had one question that he had recommended that we ask you because, and I want to know the history on this. He said you need to ask Sam about the times he goes in practice. What do you do in practice, and how is it that there's like other people who know about the fact that you do wild things in practice? I raced Luca at Westmont Pro Series, so we've been chatting every now and then. I think he's a tremendous talent coming through. I think the US is pretty lucky to have him coming through the ranks. Sometimes I tell him he asks me what I've done, and I tell him leading into this trials and worlds, I was doing some stuff that I've never done before. I was pretty confident going to trials. I was push starting 344 lows, just even splitting. I was pushing 746s. I think I did 400s on 6 minutes maybe, and I was 346, 347, 348, 348. I was just doing some good stuff. Just all race pace. We kind of tweaked our philosophy this season a little bit, and I was doing some stuff. I was very confident going into this long course season. So I was a bit annoyed when I got that bug at World Champs because I couldn't really show what I've been training for. But there were some sessions in training where I was like, I should just tumble turn and keep going and see what 400 time I could go. Yeah, seriously.
All right, so we always compare, the times at races, but we don't actually compare sets. So I want you to be truly honest, drivers. So there are 2 sets that your competitors told us they do. So today we spoke to Luca, and he says he felt the same as you. He was on fire in training, and if he hadn't got sick, he knew he was going to drop a master times. He was really excited for it. And the set that told him he did well was it. How many 50s, Brian, on a minute? 40 50s.
Yeah, it was 40.
Yeah, 40 50s on a minute. 1 fast, 3 easy. 2 fast, 2 easy. 3 fast, 3 easy. 4 fast. And he says he was feeling really good holding 26s.
Yeah.
What would you hold for that? You'd go 26s, 25s? What would it feel comfortable for you in a set like that?
We do it pretty often on a Saturday morning after we usually do a really big quality Friday night, and then it's not uncommon to go into 30 50s on a minute or 50 in Saturday morning. I'd probably hold 26s in DTs. Yeah. But I'm not the only one that do that. There are some boys that in my training, they haven't really done crazy times in a race, but I feel like particularly on a minute in 50s, you can just kind of scrape through doing 26s. That's why in my race pace stuff, I go 200s at 400 pace or 400 straight. To be honest, I feel like 50s isn't that accurate of a representation
for you. Yeah. All right. So what about if you did 10 800s on 9 minutes? What do you think you're holding?
I saw that. No way I can hold that. Actually, I did what I do last Saturday, very early season for me. I was pretty wrecked going to the session. I think it was 2 Saturdays ago. I think I did 5 800s on, I think it was 9 minutes. Definitely wasn't 10 or whatever Ahmed did, but I think I was 9. Oh no, I was holding 820, but I was for 5 and I was wrecked after 5. So I don't know. I can't go that long holding that. Maybe if I started a bit slower, I'd be able to do that, but that's very impressive.
Do you think those kind of sets motivate you in training? Because back when I was training, I heard, dude, Anthony Nesty just did 100 100s on 110 long course fly. Or I heard that Perkins showed up to the pool and his coach wasn't there, so he jumped the wall and he did this crazy set all by himself. You had these legends of these greats doing these great workouts, and that used to motivate the shit out of me. Do you hear when other people are working hard, it gets you going to go harder?
Yeah, 100%. There are some crazy stories you hear, particularly being in Australia. Grant Hackett did some mental stuff on the Dennis Cottrell. I heard him do 12 400s descending cycle, and the last 2 were on 410, and he was holding 350 something, stuff like that. is just some mental stuff you hear. It's pretty crazy. I do think training's kind of shifted in a way. I used to do a lot of stuff like that, but now I do, just like blocks of just like straight quality work, like not really recovery, just straight 400 pace and 200 pace and 800 pace and stuff.
Where do you think that comes from? Do you have like an early memory in swimming about, or maybe even from another sport, where you like discovered this ability to be able to go for a long time and hard?
Well, I've come from a very athletic, like my family loves sport. They're just sport crazy. I grew up doing surf swimming. So I've always kind of been doing the 500, it's like around 500 meters, like the surf race, but I grew pretty late. So I couldn't really hang with the boys in sprints when I was really young, just because they were massive and I was like, hadn't hit puberty yet. So I just went longer so I could just outswim them eventually. And then I kind of just, after that, started researching and going through our Australian age rankings is pretty crazy. Like the under 16 Australian age record for the 400 is a 3:41 for Ian Thorpe in DTs, which is absolutely mental. So it's pretty easy to get sucked into that sort of excitement. And everyone knows who Kieran Perkins is in Australia, and Thorpe and Hackett, no matter how old you are. It's kind of the golden era here. So it's pretty easy. It was pretty easy for me to fall in love with it.
You're not the only Aussie star who is a star at surf life saving. Like we all know Lani and her history there. We missed in Australia, who I raced this guy surf life saving, and if he was in the water, he would destroy swimming if he dedicated. Do you have other athletes there who are just really good, and if they only they swam, they could have been great, you thought?
That are good at surf life saving?
Yeah.
There are a lot of Nick Sloman's very good in the ocean, in the surf race. He's also quick off the beach. He's won like 5 Aussie surf race titles, all that sort of stuff. But he's our open water swimmer, so he's very impressive.
I was just wondering about the cross training, because a lot of the Aussies that do so many other sports that no wonder they're good at. So why do you think Aussies are good at distance swimming? They've always been good at distance swimming. What is it? Yeah,
I think just I don't know, hard working culture, kind of like it's not uncommon to like just see, like, for example, my brother, I think he's 17, but he trains for surf life saving, and he just goes to the local training club at Albany Creek, and he comes in some mornings going, yeah, Coach Maris, do 8K. And he does not swim. He does not like swimming like that, but that's just like a common thing that just kind of happens. So you kind of grow up on it. And I feel like it's just a good feeling after you crush a massive session, and you just feel like you're better than some of the sprinters that get out after doing 3:25s max on 10 minutes.
Don't you train with Isaac? Don't tell Isaac that. Come on.
Yeah, I used to train with Isaac all the time.
Yeah, back in the day. No, but I remember being in Australia, and just the culture. Like, we'd be on the beach, and Australians wake up at 5 a.m. and go to surf before they go to work. Or all of the pools that are on the water. All the wave pools on the water, not just icebergs, but tons of them. It's just part of like the culture, and most of the population is at the coast. I think it's just so in your blood. If you learn to swim, then you learn to walk. In Australia, it feels like. Yeah,
100%. Everyone's within an hour drive of the ocean almost, and pretty much everyone knows how to swim. Everyone has their Christmas at the beach. It's just a part of our culture, I guess. So yeah.
Listening to you talk about like how that's within the culture to have 8K sets and embracing training, and you've been doing that for a long time. I don't normally ask the food questions. Anytime we ask the audience for questions, is like inevitably somebody was asking about like food or what are your favorite foods or what do you like to eat. But the twist on it that I was curious about is I remember, when I was in like my peak of my career, like being able to put down like a substantial amount of food after a training session. So I'd like to know, like, what are you like putting down? Give me like a typical post big session meal, like Saturday morning or something.
Like if I do a massive Saturday morning, to be honest, I'd probably go. I have a protein shake straight after training, but when I get home, like 6 eggs, 6 pieces of bacon, like English muffins, avocado, probably another smoothie, orange juice. Like I can put down a lot of food.
Mhm.
I love spaghetti bolognese. That's like my go-to meal before training. It's kind of my superstition. If I'm going to race the next day, if I have spag bol the night before, I'm ready to go. Yeah.
All right. Well, what about when you're traveling internationally? Are you able to do that?
Yeah, well, I've learned to adapt. It's not as bad. My superstition isn't as bad as it is anymore. But definitely, I love a carby meal before I race.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Brian, I just thought about this week or last week. It's 25 years since Sydney had the Olympic Games, and I'm old, dude, because I was there for that. And you guys are having the games in 32, right? Just around the corner from where you are, in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And is that pressure? Is that motivation? Is that both to perform in Brisbane? And are you planning that microcycle? You have the 3 and then the 4, and you guys have that in your sights. What's your thoughts about 2032? Or are you just not worried about that now? You're just focusing on Pan Packs next year and Com Games or something. How do you think about that?
Right now, I'm just completely focused on next year, to be honest. I was pretty disappointed with my Worlds, just not being able to do what I thought I could do. So I'm really excited to just absolutely nail the preparation. To be honest, I'm pretty excited for states, Queensland states in December. I think we're going to have some international people come down and race. I think it's going to be a really fast meet in Brisbane in December. But, obviously I do think about it. Everyone talks about how amazing Sydney was. My parents went and watched it. I'll be 28 there. Well, that was the same age Hackett was in 2008 Beijing. And, he got a silver medal in the 1500. And I think, the long-term athlete development's only gotten better since then. So, yeah, definitely I think I should be firing by then. And it's pretty exciting.
So let me tell you how crazy Sydney was. I never forget. I came out of the subway, and you come up the escalators, and you're in like, I don't know, Darling Harbour or something in Sydney. And on the skyscrapers, there was a full 20-story photo of Ian Thorpe. You came out there, and I just came from I was in England at the time. I was like a swimmer, as big as a life size, and all the escalators had swimmers along, all over Jeff Hugel and Matt Welsh and all those folks back then. And I was like, damn, swimming is God in Australia. And that was the Olympics. And then you go to the stadium in Homebush, and it was the biggest swimming stadium ever built. There are 20,000 people there. It's the biggest crowd ever to watch swimming in 2000. And it was rocking and surefire, it's 25 years. So Brisbane, as you know well, has gone through a massive transformation, and it's such an amazing city down now. The downtown is so nice, the waterfront is all beautiful, and moving on. So that's going to be even more a light and fire and so much motivation for you. So yeah, you're going to be 27, you said, right?
28.
Yeah, 28. Yeah.
28, yeah. Do you enjoy swimming in front of the home crowd? Is that why you're looking forward to Queensland States besides the internationals coming? Do you enjoy the home support and that loud crowd behind you and getting you going?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I do love swimming in front of a crowd. Every time you go to a trials or Worlds or Olympics was just another level of it was a shock to the system. It's just amazing, and all my family can come watch. They don't have to spend a fortune to fly overseas and all that sort of stuff. I think it'll be pretty amazing. And I feel like just Australia just loves sport, and they love supporting Aussies. I think it'll be a pretty amazing environment.
I want to bring it back to your next domestic meet, this one coming up this week. What's up with this 25 freestyle? Cam's coming to swim the 25 free. Are you going to get in there to swim at 25 just so that you can? I mean, for you, it's nothing.
Oh, man, I don't even know if I'd qualify for the fast heat, let alone the seeded heats. It's pretty funny. In our club relay, I think I barely make the C4x50 relay at States. I've got to throw down a fast 50 at some local meet just to try and a fast 50 for me, just to try and qualify for our 4x50 relay. Yeah, it'll be pretty fun. I think it's on the first day, so yeah, I'll be happy to watch that. I'm pretty keen. I think he'll do something pretty good. I think he's doing a strength block or something at the moment, so I'm thinking he's going to be rocking up, looking pretty strong.
Well, I do think it'd be fun to have top athletes. We talk a lot about things that, the sport could do to make it more interesting, more fan friendly, to draw in, the non-swimming crowd into swimming and create some more financial opportunity for people long term. I mean, it's not as big of an issue probably in Australia, where swimming is a lot more commonplace and there's more fandom, but still exists. It's not like there's opportunities for every single person, right? And not at the level of, footy or, any other sport that's definitely commercially bigger. Well, it'd be so much fun to see, like, you pick an event that you want to see Cam struggle in, and he picks an event for you that's like your biggest weakness. And if so, if you pick something, what would be like the worst event for you on the swimming lineup?
To be honest, if we're talking freestyle, 25 free.
It could be any stroke.
Oh, breaststroke. Oh, geez. I used to, breaststroke. I just struggle city for me. I used to do a lot of IM when I was really young, and like I'd be really good at the fly back and free, but that breaststroke leg, geez, it's painful to watch. I feel sorry for the people that have to watch it.
Yeah, hold on, Luke. We'll get to that. Have you given any thought to like how the sport could evolve? I mean, I guess, hey, my college teammate is now the president of the IOC, Kirsty Coventry. And, so like, I'm a believer in, the carrot of the Olympic movement and the spirit of, people pursuing that path. It was a path that I tried to pursue for a long time, and that drove me. But at the same time, I'm realistic that's like, I think there's ways that we could make swimming more fun and more of a spectator friendly environment, and maybe earn some revenue with it. So I'm just like curious, what does somebody like you think about that? Do you think that there's any opportunity within kind of the current model to have it evolve? And what are some of the things that like you're talking about with any teammates or friends like that are in swimming?
Yeah, definitely. I think like the philosophy, like you need it used to be like this in Australia for a long time. Like you just got to train for 6 months and like not race fast for 6 months, and then you race trials and race the Olympics. It was just like a one fast meet. So like no one really cared about swimming at all until the Olympics, right? I love racing fast multiple times in a year. That's something I'm trying to do for this cycle, and hopefully for more. I think it's not a bad thing to throw down really fast times every now and then. I think it really benefits training and go travel and race. So that's, I think, just more racing, and I think it's getting better now. Like more people I don't think people understand really how I live my life or what I train, what I do. Travel. It's pretty exciting. I'm 22. I've had the opportunity to travel the world and swim. Half my mates, go to uni and really don't do sport. They haven't been to half the countries I've been to. So it's a very lucky lifestyle I live. And I think if we just, race fast more often and kind of like document that a little bit more, I think a lot of more people will tune in. Yeah.
I think also what swimming doesn't have, a lot of sports have, is we need more rivalries. And you don't have to be mean to each other, but you want to have a rival. You want to like beat that person next to you. And your events, you got rivals. You have a number of them, and you guys are battling. There are about 4 or 5 of you across the 4, 8, and the mile. That on any given day, one of you can win this. It's really exciting, But would you consider that you have a rivalry, and in the ready room, are you guys just in your own zone and just not taking on each other, but then you're friends for beer when it's done? Like, talk to me about the rivalry between, even Elijah for in the Aussies, and then you have Ahmed and Hafanawi if he comes back, and Daniel and Wellbrook and Lucas, and you got so many there. What's that relationship?
Yeah, I think definitely for the sport of swimming, rivalries is for the best. I would say I've got a couple rivals. Like I'm a very competitive guy. Yeah. I just want to beat people every time I race. If we're talking domestically, me and Elijah, we're racing all the time. I've come second at a domestic nationals that wasn't even a trial swim with a 341.4. Like I came second. He went 341.3, I think, or something like that. Came second, which is just crazy at a domestic meet that doesn't even mean anything. Just like stuff like that, we're always racing and pushing each other. I think that really helps. And then internationally, I'd say Lucas was on the podium in 23. I won that. He obviously won the Olympics and then won Worlds. I came second at Worlds by 0.02 behind. We've always been right there. Super, super close. I watched the finish of that 400 free. I just kind of like grimace. I'm just like, 0.02. That's so small. Obviously Hafnil, I battled him out, 2023 a lot. And then, you see, Daniel Whiffen, obviously a beast. He'll be back stronger next year. I'm really excited to race him at commies. I'm sure we'll throw down some fast times racing each other. And, obviously Ahmed at Worlds this year was just incredible. It was just amazing. So I definitely embrace the rivalries. I really want to beat them. It does annoy me when they beat them, but obviously they're all such lovely guys. So you can't dislike them at all. You can always have a yarn with them after. But for me personally, when I'm going into a race, I definitely just head down. I want to beat them and try and get any edge I can over them.
For sure.
Part of you's got to feel like, oh man, the day when you get some clean water, that last 50 has got to feel like. Do you imagine that? Are you visualizing what that moment feels like? Because if I just go back through like your results history here, and it's like you win the world title by 0.02 of the 423, and then you're off the podium by 0.14, in Paris, and then you're on the receiving end of a 0.02 margin, for silver in the 400 in 2025. Yeah. So there's got to be part of you too in this year that's like, well, hey, it worked to my benefit, a couple of years ago at 0.02, that tight margin. But I don't know how much you're like, God damn, do they always have to be such close races?
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. Obviously, when that happened, I was like, I can't believe I won by 0.02 in 23, and then I lost. I came second by 0.02 in 25. It's just ridiculous. Like Meg my teammate Meg, she won a 50 by like 0.3 or something. Like it was comfy, and I was like, I came second by 0.02 in the 400, and like the 400 Olympics, I think it was 0.3 to like second place, and I came fourth, and then Guilherme, the Brazilian, was 0.1 behind me, which is just insane. It's so close at the moment at the top, which is just insane. So, obviously I wish for clean water, but I love a good race. To be honest, I'd rather come second, pushing myself to the absolute limit next to someone than win it by like a country mile and not do, kind of have the option to ease off. I love those close races. It's kind of what I live for.
Talk us. I've never done this. Talk us through what's it like to like. All right, Brian's right next to me. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna break him. You come off the wall. He's still there. All right, I'm gonna go. You come off the wall. He's still there. You try and he hangs on. Wait, now he goes ahead. Like how's that feeling when you try to break somebody and they don't go away and then they make a move? It's a chess match. Talk about that shit.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's something through endurance sport in general. I think it's just awesome. You don't know it till you're actually in the moment. Like those, when you try and break someone and if they hang with you, like then you're like, oh no, like this could hurt or something like that. I think probably the best. Bobby Fink, he never gets broken. He's always there. I think that's such a strong talent of his. He's just going to hang, and you just know if he's there the last 100, he's going to be coming home like a freight train, no matter how hard you go out. And he never gets broken. He's just such a good racer. And in training, I feel like those battles are really good. Particularly in those long sessions, you try and break someone and they're still there, and then they go, and then you get to push each other. And then I feel like that's where like those really special training sessions come out. I love watching endurance sports, and that's a big perk of them.
Tell me more about that. I like watching endurance sports too. I got into triathlon a bunch. I love watching cycling. I love watching triathlon, marathon running. What are you into?
I've gotten really into like the Tour de France after that series on Netflix. I'm a big Jonas Vingegaard fan now after watching that series, and I think it's just incredible to see what those guys do and like the sort of numbers on the bike they put up on these massive inclines. It's just insane. And my sports scientist actually that I see every day and works with me every day, he's come from a cycling background. Like he used to work with those sort of teams, and the amount of information and knowledge he's brought over to my daily training environment has just been absolutely insane. And I just love that whole mindset of that Tour de France.
Are there 3 seasons or 2? There's 3, right?
I think.
Well, whatever. The latest season they switched to dubbing instead of putting it all in native language. So did you like that? Because they lost me on that. I hated it, and I stopped watching.
Yeah, I didn't mind too much. Obviously, it's better watching in their own language. It's more raw, I think. But yeah, honestly, I just love watching people try and break each other on those big mountains. I love those mountain stages. I think it's just like seeing people just push themselves to the limit. I think it's just incredible.
What if swimming had? Open water swimming does obviously, but what if pools had like that kind of stuff? Like, all right, this in the middle 400 is a current, so you got to go over the current. Well, I'm a really good current swimmer. Like I'm a good hill climber. Like, what if swimming had some sort of like events like that? Would you embrace that? Do you like open water swimming? I saw you just tried on a open water suit, right? Would you enjoy having different conditions to be good at?
Oh, 100%. I come from a surf lifesaving background. I'm actually going to do open water nationals, I think, in January, because I really want to try and that 3K knockout swim, for example. If I come top 4 or top 3 at nationals in the 10K, I think I get the opportunity to go to the World Cups and all that sort of stuff. So that's really what I'm shooting for in January. It's kind of like a little goal that'll keep me in the water over Christmas. I think that knockout swim's got my name written all over it, to be honest. Like last 500 meter, like that'd be pretty. I feel like I'm one of the best over the 400 and 500. I'd be pretty good as well. So
Sure.
I definitely will be embracing open water over the next year.
What comes after your swimming career? Do you think there's like endurance sport to come later, or are you like a goofy runner and you can't?
Oh geez, I'm pretty hopeless at running. I'm so top heavy. Like my legs are like kind of little pins, and my upper body's pretty hefty. So I think I'll definitely do something, to be honest. Honestly, open water, you see some of those guys racing that are doing really well, and they're in like their 30s. So I think your endurance sticks around with you as you get older, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I always think it's kind of funny. We see this in open water where you have like a lot more longevity in sport, it seems, but it doesn't. I don't know. The sport's changed probably in the last 10 years, whereas before I felt like a couple things. One is before it seemed like longevity in the distance events didn't happen as much. And then when we talk about sprinting, people are like, especially with the 50s coming into the Olympics, they're like, oh, this is going to be great because it's going to extend the career for, so many people who are like, oh, I don't have to have the timing commitment to train, etc. But then it strikes me that in running and in triathlon, you kind of start at shorter distances, and all of these athletes as they age move up to the longer distances. And yet we don't see that in swimming, really, and it's just like kind of almost the opposite. So I don't quite understand why.
Yeah, I agree. I think that will change. Like, for example, like Grigoriy Paltrinieri, he's probably pushing 30. I think he might be 29, and I guarantee he'll be around at the Olympics, and he'll probably be fighting for that gold medal. Like that guy's an absolute monster.
Yeah.
I do think more people will go into open water as they get older. It is. I think that like middle ground, like 400, 800, it is pretty hard to do that as an older person, I think, at the moment. But definitely the two opposite ends of the spectrum, like the 50 and the open water, I think you can go there as an older athlete.
You put time in the water, you put time in the weight room, you put time in recovery. But so Brian and I were talking with John earlier, and I remember when we were 15, I have a 15-year-old son. And that's when swimming got really serious for me. But that's also when school got really serious for me. And it was really, really hard to balance the time in the water and then the time at school and do well. And my son's in that right now. He's having a hard time. It's a big learning curve. You put so much time in your sport. Did I read somewhere that you're studying law? And what are you doing on the side? And how are you balancing your life outside of water? Who's Sam Short out of water? And what do you do?
Yeah, I definitely... I look back on my school and I wonder how I did it, like waking up at 4:20 and not going to sleep till like getting home until like 7:30 at night. Like it's pretty hard as an student athlete. But I think it really does help your time management skills at being a swimmer. Like I was able to get everything done at school. I remember like I would never do homework. I could just get everything done at school and end up getting a good final grade. And then, I was studying law. I think I was just nearly finished my second year. But then I was like, it was actually this year I was kind of realized like, oh, do I want to be a lawyer? Do I want to pursue it? So I took a deferred this semester. I think I'm going to change like business finance, I think. Okay. Like I was passing everything, but I just didn't really think I wanted to do it. And also like I went and raced in Brazil and everything and had like a 4,000 word really big law assignment to do. And I was in Brazil and I was like, this is so hard to do while I'm in Brazil and I'm trying to swim and I can't. Everything's different. And I was like, oh, I might just change. So definitely still in uni. Like, I go to QUT. I think I was on the sports scholarship there. So I think it's really hard to balance it. But yeah, time management is key.
Absolutely. So what do you do to take to recover mentally? What's your thing? Good coffee, good cooking, good book. What do you do?
Geez, I love food. I love food. I don't actually drink coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker.
Are you Aussie? Wait, check.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. Everyone, when we go out for coffee with my mates, like I just get a milkshake. It's just that's me. But yeah, I love movies. I love Netflix, and just hanging with my friends on the weekend. To be honest, yeah, I think that's something my coach really embraces. You know, you got to be an athlete and really knuckle down. But I'm a 22-year-old as well, so yeah.
Tell me about Damien. Like, what I mean, we know his history with coaching, and he's coached a range of athletes and a range of events. But who's Damien Jones to us? Explain who Damien Jones is.
I mean, he's really passionate. He loves hard work. He doesn't. He just loves doing hard stuff. But he's not scared to move on with the sport. He's not stuck in the past with some other coaches, like particularly in Australia. They're stuck with the old. We're going to flog you. He really does. Yeah. He's moved on as well. But he just loves his athlete. I can talk to him as a mate as well, which is really good. And he's a really good mentor for me. And obviously he's a big family man, to be honest. He just took his kids at school holidays here at the moment. So he's just took his caravan up with his kids for the week. So I won't be seeing him for a couple of weeks. We've gone to World Cups, but he's an amazing coach. He's taken me from when I joined him, I was 353 as a 16-year-old. And then by the time I was 19, I went 340. So he's helped me go, pretty crazy with my results. And he's done that with a lot of athletes.
And so he's not going with you to the World Cup circuit. How are you affording going to the World Cup circuit? And who's your support staff? Who's organizing your meals and organizing your physio? Is it all Sam Short Team Sam Short? Like, talk to me about the logistics and the support you have for the 4 weeks you have.
Yeah, so we've his assistant coach, his name's Tim Dilger. He's been going with us. He usually coaches a lot of the juniors, but he's a lot to do with me. So he's got the opportunity to come with us as part of my team. So me and Charlie Hawke are going over from my squad. Okay. Swimming Australia have kind of picked out like certain events they want to kind of target and develop. So for me, for example, because I came second at trials and I was top 4 in the 4x2 in the 200. I think a lot of my cost was subsidised, which was great. So I got the opportunity to go for much less than I would have had to pay if I didn't get any subsidy. So that was pretty good. So I've targeted particular events. So we'll have physio over there, and I think World Aquatic Hotels. I think you stay in the World Aquatic Hotels, and they provide food and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it'll be all good.
What stop are you looking forward to the most? Are you looking forward to the swim capital of the United States in Carmel? Are you looking to the Macintosh World Record Center in Toronto? Like what pool, what event, what stop are you looking forward to the most? I loved Westmont when I was there for the Pro Swim Series. I thought I had a great time there. Obviously, I've seen pictures of the pool in Carmel. It's just is it a high school pool? It looks like it's high school.
It's
ridiculous
insane.
for a high school. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like better than our bloody Olympic training center here. And then is the Toronto pool where Summer McIntosh did break the world record this year?
Are they swimming at the Pan Am pool? If they're swimming at the Pan Am pool, then that's where she broke all her records because she wasn't only breaks at the nationals. So do you know what pool in Toronto it's at? Must be the Pan Am pool.
Yeah,
I assume it's the same one, man. Yeah,
but I've been to it.
Yeah, I was there a couple of years ago for the World Cups in 22. I can't imagine it's a different pool.
I hope it is that pool. Like, or one of my favorite swims of all time was Kieran Perkins. He went 14:41 in that pool at the Commonwealth Games in DTs. So I think that's a pretty special pool to race in. I also think if he was wearing a race suit, that'd still be the world record. I think he would have gone well under 14:30 if he was wearing a race suit.
Was it not Commonwealth Games in 1994 Victoria where he broke the 800 world record en route to breaking the 1500 world record? I think that was that was one of it. Yeah. Can you imagine doing that? Can you imagine doing 2 in 1? Would that happen again? Do you think that could ever happen again?
I highly doubt that. I think the 800's developed. 800 being more of an individual event now has kind of eliminated that from happening. I think it's, yeah.
Well, one of the legends of swimming, the folklore swimming, is Yannick Ayangel, and he still has the world record in the 400 free short course meters. What does it take to take down that record? I mean, you don't know. You don't swim short course, but you're gonna find out, right?
Yeah, we're going to find out. I've done like a couple of weeks of some short course sessions, and yeah, I mean, he's a very fast swimmer, like 1:43.1 long course. He's very, very tidy swim right there. I think it's just a different way of swimming, so I'm pretty excited. I used to be all right at swimming short course when I was a bit younger. Like I had some national records when I was younger. But yeah, honestly, I think it's just tempo, to be honest. Like I'm such a momentum orientated swimmer. That's why it benefit long course for me. But it's going to force me to work on my turns, and yeah, so I'm pretty excited. I think Dan Whiffin's 7:20, 800 free. That's very impressive. That is moving.
Yeah, those are moving for sure. What's like the end goal for you? I mean, I know Luke talked about getting to Brisbane, and that's all cool and all, but it's like so far into the future that, it's not really how we kind of program what you can do and what you can control on a daily basis, on a season basis. But like, I don't know. I mean, besides like the idea that it'd be cool to swim in a home Olympics, is there like something that you're trying to get out of like what you're doing and what you're grinding every day? Is there like a guiding light?
Yeah, I really want a world record, to be honest. I saw obviously Lucas break the world record 3:39, and I really, went 3:41 with like not much rest at trial, 3:41.0, not much rest at trials. Like I really think I can break a world record one day, and that's kind of my goal. Obviously, winning the Olympics, that's obviously everyone's dream, but that's still 3 years away. I've got Pan Pacs, commies, another world championships. There's so many opportunities to try and get back on the top step. So I just really want to get back on the top step in like a world championship or a global event. I just really want to be the best. I'm a very competitive guy, so that's kind of what wakes me up in the morning and makes me try and do some world class sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, are you wearing a short sleeve shirt?
Long sleeve. Oh, sweat patches too. It's hot here now.
Could you roll down your left forearm and talk to us about what we're seeing there and that tattoo you got? Like I saw your Instagram on it. What's the triangle?
Yeah,
what's the face?
Yeah.
What's going on? That one, yeah. What's going on there? Explain to us the meaning of what's the story there.
Yeah, so I got my first tattoo was the Olympic rings, obviously, and that's Olympics started in Greece and all sort of stuff. So I've kind of gone the whole Greek theme. I love mythology and all that sort of stuff. I kind of grew up loving all that sort of stuff. So I've got like Atlas here. So instead of holding the earth, he's holding the rings for me.
Nice.
Of the world. And then I've kind of gone full Poseidon theme here, to be honest. So everything here is just about water, Olympics, and Poseidon. So that's what it is. I got to get the fine line stuff touched up a little bit. They fade a little bit, but yeah.
You inspired, Luke? He's still thinking about his first tattoo. So,
hey, just do it, man. You only live once.
If I made the games, I'd have got it. That's what I've done.
Yeah, that was my kind of thing. I was like, my first tattoo is going to be the rings, and if I never made the Olympics, I was never going to get a tattoo. And then I remember when I made the Olympics, I booked in my tattoo for like straight away when I got back from the games.
Yeah.
A little bit of advice for those, and Sam, you follow this advice. So for those who have light colored skin, and you want to get the Olympic rings, and you want to get it colored, you got to put a black outline in it. So my brother made Sydney, and he got the Olympic rings, and it looked like one ring and then three, because the yellow blended in with his skin. So you got to put the black outline, otherwise you don't see the yellow. And it's like, why do you have some bubbles in your shoulder? So
yeah, you got to get the outline. Yeah, and the yellow, and some of the colors fade too. So like, if you don't want to get it touched up all the time, like some of my friends that haven't got their rings touched up, you can't even see the yellow ring. So it's just four rings without the fifth one.
But you know what the Canadians do, which I think is a nice tradition? They give them all gold rings with the rings on, the gold Olympic rings. So that any Canadian has it. Do Aussies have any stuff like that? I know you guys get a number when you make a team. Do you get a jewelry piece?
You can get it. I know like my best mate Max Giuliani, he got one. I think he had to like order or something. I was definitely off the ferries. I'd never got on top of that. So hopefully I get on top of that for the next Olympics hopefully I make it. So, but yeah, most people do have the gold Olympic rings, which I think are really cool.
Brian, it is a flex at the bar and you're ordering a drink or something. You go, oh, excuse me. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people use that technique.
Yeah. Knocking on the desk or something like that with it. Oh, excuse this thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. We'll end with some rapid ones. I might even incorporate some audience questions into this too. So we'll see as we go. All right. First, what's the hardest race in swimming?
1500 for sure.
Now, I think you may have just answered this a few moments ago, but if you had to choose between an Olympic gold or a world record, which one would it be?
World record.
In which event?
400 free.
Sick.
Okay. Yeah. But go ahead, Luke.
I was going to say, Lucas said that he thinks the world record is going to be 3:34, Luka Mijatovic, by the time he stops swimming. What's your opinion on that?
I don't know. What 334? That's like 146, 147.0, 147.0. I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty quick. It was 340 in 2000, so I think I don't know.
Well, earlier when you were talking about the 800, then maybe setting the world record on the way out, like in two events in the same race, like, well, you can go out in 338.
Maybe if someone front ends at 143 and then they still come home somehow. We'll see.
That's so crazy. All right. If you had to delete every app on your phone except for 3, which 3 are remaining?
I'd keep Instagram, my camera roll, and probably Snapchat, to be honest. That's all I communicate with is Snapchat.
Okay. Disappearing. I like it. All right. If you could change any rule in swimming, what rule would you change?
I don't know. I liked watching like the old Olympics where you could like false start, but they still give you another opportunity, and then like they'd swim out and like come all the way back in, and it'd be a whole long process. Like I kind of liked watching that. I thought it was pretty cool.
I used to use that to my advantage. To like outside a swimmer, you're forced start to like it's like in football when you ice the kicker, you do that. Like you just kind of you outside them. It's like
fair enough.
You get loosen up. You get wet and you feel good.
What was Luke? Was that at NCAA's last year when the officials didn't drop the rope to stop the heat, and so there were like 3 people out of 8 that swam the first full 50 plus of a 200.
Yeah.
And so then my college coach, and now he's at Cal. I remember watching David Marsh walk up behind the blocks to talk to whoever the Cal swimmer was in that heat and go, like, as the guy, when that happens, you like get out of water. The whole crowd's like, what's going on? The race stops. Half people are swimming, half of them aren't swimming anymore because some people heard them stop the race. And then he comes up and he's like, hey, you're not swimming right now. Put your jacket on, step away. Like, we're going to do this re-swim later. And then it took like a coach's appeal to, organize when they were going to do a re-swim, which ended up being like a half hour later. But so like, it's like just an instance of this sort of thing where, if they don't drop the rope in time, then you end up with like a situation where you gotta sort it out after the fact. It seems like it'd be helpful if we were going to have this, if we were to go back in that direction, that you'd have some other kind of technology, like not just a rope on the surface, but maybe like a light on the bottom of the pool or like some kind of audible signal that you could tell a swimmer to stop. I feel like we're at that point in technology today.
Because that rope hurts. I've slashed that rope across your chest. You're going full speed in the 15. It's not a fun rope. They always make it the nylon one as well. No.
He says he's going fast, but his goal this year was to go 26 in 150. And you are a person who goes 26s on repeat.
That's right.
So let's be honest about how fast you're actually going over there.
I am pissed off because Ahmed had a bet that his last 50 would be faster than my 50 free, and he won. I was pissed off.
He would have. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah, you set goals as you age. It's all good, Luke. We're in support of your pursuit of goals. Okay. What's the most impressive world record on the books today?
I mean, I'd say that's 7:32, 800 free, but also Leon's new one he just got. That is absurd. You go 152 in the 200 IM? That's insane. That's a 200 free time.
That is a 200 free time, that's for sure. Okay, are you using AI at all? And if so, what's the like weirdest search that you've input and weirdest prompts that you've input into an AI this week?
I actually don't really use it that much, to be honest. Oh, actually, I lost some challenge at training, and then I had to write a poem for one of the coaches as a punishment. So it was like write a poem for Tim Dilger, which is the coach that's going to me to World Cup, and so it stuck me out a pretty funny poem.
All right, that sounds good. Okay, what's the most annoying thing that a coach or a teammate can do?
Oh, save up Sally. Like not try your best all session, and then just rip something crazy on the last effort when you're meant to be doing it the whole session. Yeah, probably that.
Yeah. Okay. What's the hardest set you've ever done?
There's been some hard ones. I mean, geez, I actually did one this season. It was an 800 fastest even pace, 4.2s aerobic 2, then on like 230 straight into a 400 fast even pace, 4.2s, 200 fast even pace, 4.2s, 100 fastest. But it was like I had to really go for it, and that's when I went like 7:47, 3:45, 1:49, 51, I think. And the 200s were on like 2:30. Like you had to, there wasn't really much rest, so that was pretty crazy. But I wasn't the worst because some guy had to do it IM next to me, so he's on like 800 IM, 400 IM. So
fuck that.
It can get worse.
Yeah, no thanks. Oh man, that just sounds so brutal. Hard swimming is so hard. Having done multiple different sports, like a hard bike session is really hard. A hard run session is really hard, but a really hard swim session like that, I have a hard time believing that that's not the hardest out of all of them.
Yeah, it knocks you around.
Yeah, it'll knock you around. All right. What's the most impressive swim that you've ever seen in person?
I had the pleasure to watch Christoph Malak's 200 fly world record in Budapest. I was in the stands for it. That was insane. Like turning in 51, and then the whole Hungarian crowd, like cheering him on. That was, I don't think I'll ever see something like that again. That was pretty special to see.
It's crazy when you have moments like that where people are ahead of the world record and you're like, I don't know, man. And then, when you're in the building, I don't know if the board has the world record line. Maybe it does. Maybe they have that superimposed on there in the stadium, but he just like kept pulling away.
Yeah, it was insane.
Absolutely insane.
It was like 154 to make that 200 fly final, which is really fast. Like the 200 fly has gone so fast. Like our Australian record's 154. And the guy's coming 8th into the final with the 154, and then Christoph just nearly goes 149. It was insane.
Man, wild. All right, man. Last one is we have to know, and of course it deserves some credit here because it's clearly the secret sauce. But how much social kick are we doing in that training program now?
At least minimum. The last 200 or 300 of the session needs to be social kick. It just needs to be.
There we go. We got to develop those legs, man. We can't have the big top skinny legs. Don't skip leg day.
It's crucial for recovery.
Oh man, thanks for spending some time with us. Good luck at Australia Short Course Champs in the World Cup. It's going to be a ton of fun too. I mean, hey, collect some PBs, man. Go get them.
Yes, that's the goal. That's the goal for sure.
All right, man. Well, you're welcome back anytime. Thanks, Sam, for hanging out with us. And that's it for this episode of Social Kick. We'll see you next time.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed this episode of Social Kick and you'd like to see more, subscribe to the channel. And we love talking swimming, and we'd love to talk about swimming with you. So leave us a comment, and we'll see you next time.